How's it going, guys? Thank you guys for joining us again to another one of our devotionals, and we're going to jump into 1 Samuel chapter 16 verses 4 and 5, and it's right here on the screen. And it says, "And Samuel," this is the prophet Samuel here, "did that which the Lord spake, and came to Bethlehem. And the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and said, Comest thou peaceably? And he said, Peaceably. I am come to sacrifice unto the Lord. Sanctify yourselves, and come with me to the sacrifice. And he sanctified Jesse and his sons, and called them to the sacrifice." And in these two verses we learn of a quality that a prophet would have among the people. Do you notice that? Samuel, he was a mighty prophet. He was called from a very, very young age, and he was widely renowned among all of Israel. He was ultimately, I believe he was ultimately the high priest at that point. There was no high priest after Eli died. And so Samuel was the one in charge of, on top of all of Israel, really the voice of God at that point. And today, we hear just about every other church has a prophet among them. And though I don't discredit the fact that God still has prophets all over this world, I've seen a lot of prophets, as you see them on Instagram, you see them on Facebook, and they call themselves prophets. And today's generation's prophets, they're everything but a prophet, to be honest. And you see right here, people trembled at the coming of the prophet Samuel. They trembled at it. It was what we just read. Today's so-called prophets, they're living fancy lifestyles. They're making money off of people. They're twisting the word of God for their personal gain. They're driving fancy cars and doing all these things that it is completely the opposite, far away from being a prophet. But every word that they have spoken, and every penny that they have made by twisting the word of God and by lying to people, they're gonna be accountable for it. And that's just the way it's gonna be. God doesn't forget that easy. And a prophet of God, like we just read, he was feared by the people, and he didn't have to say that I am a prophet. Rather, people just knew that he was a prophet. He he was a mouth through which God spoke, and he was nothing more than that. Just he was the people were afraid of that. Samuel was a humble man. He is a perfect example of what a prophet ought to be. A perfect example. And so if you're going to be a prophet today, you better match what the description of a prophet is back then. And prophets were all, different in different kind of shapes and sizes and everything. You have Elisha the prophet, you have Elijah, you have even John the Baptist the prophet, and everybody was a little different than everybody. None of them lived a fancy lifestyle. None of them did any of these crazy things that people are doing today. It is just very sad to see that all these fakes are taking advantage of God's people. But what's sadder is that people don't know their Bibles, and people are just flocking to them. Oh, that's a prophet right there, and they just run to him like if it's very sad, the condition that the church is in today. It's really sad. And but nothing goes unpunished. Like I said, nothing goes unpunished. God, the Lord, will judge, and we as Christians, we must learn to recognize between the true and the fake, and to stay away from it completely, and as a matter of fact to expose it and call it as it is. It's very, very, very sad. And if you haven't seen today's prophets, it only takes for you to go on Google and type in today's prophets or something like that, and you'll find some crazy stuff. But anyways, that's just one of many things that are going on today, which points us closer and closer to the coming of Christ. We know that. And that'll be it for today, guys. Thank you guys for joining us again. Keep on helping us to share this, like I always ask, and like our Facebook page. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow.